Every time I review a minivan, I lament the fact that not enough of you out there buy them anymore. They're practical in ways SUVs just aren't, and as an added bonus, you can get them with all-wheel drive, like that Chrysler Pacifica that's parked behind me. Not much has changed as I stand here today, and I still think more families should be opting for vans like that one, only this time even I might think twice before pulling the trigger. For more expert car reviews, don't forget to share our channel and subscribe so you can catch some of this and maybe even a little of that. All right, everyone, calm down. Yeah, that opening was a little bit harsh, but I love this van. I love all vans, actually. You guys probably know that already. I think they're awesome. I think they're super practical, and I think you should like them too. That's why I do what I do. I'm not here to have a bias. I'm here to tell you guys what I think based on my opinion of SUVs, cars, trucks, minivans, doesn't matter. I drive them all, and you already know that because you already subscribe to the AutoTrader YouTube channel. So you've seen all of these reviews, and you know that I'm looking out for your best interest. I'm not in the market for a van like this, but I know some of you out there might be, and that's why I'm here to let you know what I think. And what I think is this van is a little expensive. Here's the thing. I do this little guessing game, especially if I haven't seen the price sticker yet before I pick up a vehicle. I drive it for a bit, and then I try to guess just how much a particular automaker might be charging. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but after a couple hours of driving this thing, I thought I had a pretty good sense. Figured it was maybe $45,000, maybe $47,000 for this Pacifica as it sits. I was wrong. Actually, I was more than wrong. I was way wrong. This thing, as it's stickered, Chrysler wants $62,000 before tax. That is a ton of money. And yeah, I know some of you out there are going to tell me, Dan, I got a Pacifica Touring L last year and it only cost me 48 grand, and that's great. Probably a bunch of incentives were slapped on the hood at your local dealer, and I am very happy for you, but that is not the case with everyone. So I can't talk about incentives. I've gone over this before, but I'll do it again. Those change from area to area, from month to month, and sometimes even week to week. So I cannot talk about incentives. All I can talk about is the manufacturer's suggested retail price. That's how much Chrysler thinks this thing should be listed for, and that's what I can talk about. And what I think is it's just too much money. Now, this is the Pacifica Touring L. So it's about 54 grand before tax for the front wheel drive version, about 57 grand for this all-wheel drive model that I'm driving. That's about the same as a fully loaded Kia Telluride, which is probably one of the best, if not the best, three-row SUV of its kind out there. And I'm not saying that it's miles ahead of this thing, but it definitely feels like it. And it's not that this feels cheap. It just has one of those kind of value pack vibes. Even with this leather upholstery, even with this seat back entertainment system, it definitely feels like a value packed vehicle. That is a good thing. It's not a criticism, but it does mean that price is a little tough to justify, especially when you start to take stock of the features that are here or the ones that are missing. Because if you take a look at this thing, well, it comes with standard heated front seats as well as the heated steering wheel, but the heated rear seats, those only come with this family entertainment package that includes the screens, Wi-Fi hotspot, all that good stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff packed in there, but it's not standard in this Touring L trim. There's also no ventilated front seats, and that's a big one for me. There's a lot of good stuff here, but there are a few things missing. One thing that's missing that I'm totally fine with, there's no sunroof. Will, not so happy because it's kind of dark in here, as I'm sure you can tell, but I happen to like it. This is pretty much exactly how I would spec a Pacifica if I were in the market for one. Not a big sunroof guy. Yes, that is very subjective, but I'm just saying, I dig the way this one is put together, but there are a few features missing for the money. And again, just some of the fit and finish in here isn't quite on the same level as you get with that Telluride for the same $57,000. That is my big issue. Now, in spite of what this thing may be missing for the price, there are some goodies here that none of the three-row SUVs you're considering instead can compete with, starting with outright room. Yes, there's enough space back here to fit plywood. There's more than 4 feet from side to side. Both sets of rear seats also tumble right into the floor. That's something no other minivan offers. Pretty incredible that you can even do it with this all-wheel drive model. Super easy to do as well. Now, officially, there's 4,000 liters when all the back seats are tucked into the floor, but even with them all upright, there's still 900 liters because of that deep well where the third row sits. Tons of utility, but there's more to like too. Are the sliding doors the reason so many people out there don't think minivans are cool? I don't know, and I don't care because I think they are awesome. They mean the kids aren't going to ding that car parked next to you in the grocery store parking lot, and that is invaluable, but they also make accessibility so easy. And yes, I rolled my 29er mountain bike in here the other day. Didn't even have to tilt it sideways. I didn't know if it was going to work, but the handlebars tucked right in. Awesome. Also awesome how much room there is. And yes, I can fit in that third row even with my 6'3" frame. That to me is what minivans are all about. But as an added bonus, this thing has a built-in vacuum. Now, I don't have kids of my own, but I know just how important something like this is. Suck it, SUVs! Look, I don't want to belabor the point about this space in here because you guys know minivans are big, but just take a look. We have plans to go biking at Kelso Summit once we're done this shoot today. It's a beautiful day and it's right around the corner. Well, I've got my 29er in the back with Will monitoring audio right now. There are 5 full seats upright in here, plus my bike. That is incredible. And I know some of you are going to say, well, I can do the same thing with a truck or an SUV and just throw it on the back or throw it on the roof. True. But I happen to prefer having my bike inside because it means when we go grab lunch, I don't have to worry about it being on the back of the vehicle and susceptible to theft. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I don't know. I take comfort in the situation as it is right now. Really like that I have all that space. I also like that this has standard power windows and locks, of course, but also proximity sensors and the sliding doors. Both of them are power open and close, and so is the tailgate. One complaint: it is not height programmable. Might be a sign of its age, but it's a bit of a bummer that you can't set it. If you park indoors like me, it means you're kind of screwed. I know, it sounds like a small complaint, but it really does bum me out. Now, another thing I'm not so crazy about, there's no centralized close and lock button in the back. That is a bit of a newer piece of technology, so maybe it's just a sign of this van's age, but I like that, and I'm sure some of you parents out there would like that too. You got your hands full of kids or stuff? Well, you just hit one button on the back, it closes the tailgate and locks all the doors, so I do wish that was here. Another sign of the age here: no physical buttons for those heated seats or steering wheel. You got to do it through the touchscreen. A bit frustrating even with this new Uconnect system. Otherwise, I do have to say, ease of use in here, excellent. Whether it's the infotainment that is running Uconnect 5, the latest from Chrysler and its compatriot brands, it's very quick. It's just better than it was before. I really do like it. You can also have multiple phones hooked up through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and both are wireless. It is very handy because you can just toggle from one phone to the next. I really do like that. I showed you guys in the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it next. It's a very handy feature. It does give this thing a slight edge over some of its rivals, especially that wireless connection, because it means you can just leave your phone in your pocket and still have your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto hooked up as soon as you get back inside. And then everything else, big physical controls for the climate system. Yeah, you can do it through the infotainment screen as well, but I do like that there's this whole bank of controls. There's also a bunch of advanced safety features here: your parking sensors, your lane keep assist, and a self-parking system that works in both parallel and perpendicular spots. That is unique to this Touring L and above. You don't get it in the base Pacifica, but it is a good system. Does work well. It's a little slow. It's going to give you like a 5-point turn that you might be able to do in just 1 or 2. But if you're uncomfortable backing into parking spaces, it is very nice to have this system. There are some other cool technology pieces here too, like this FamCam. Not only do I like that name, it works really well. There's a camera up on the headliner and you can actually keep an eye on the kids in the back. Now, resolution, it's okay when it's zoomed right out, but when you tap to zoom into each one of the seats, not so great, but you get the gist. You can see what they're up to. If there's a problem, if they're fighting back there, well, you can pull it up and have a live look at what's going on right on the infotainment screen. Now, as some of you probably know, the Pacifica is available with a plug-in hybrid powertrain, but this is the gas-only one, and that's also how you get the all-wheel drive. It's got a 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. You can probably hear it working hard, but it's not working too hard. It's actually an amazingly smooth powertrain. I like it a lot. When it inevitably goes away, because it is getting up there in age, I will be a little sad. Not as sad as when Jeep's 4-liter went away, but this is a pretty nice engine in its own right. It makes 287 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, both of which are very competitive for the segment. I'm talking within a few horsepower of the other minivans out there, with the exception of the two hybrid options, one being the Pacifica and the other being the Toyota Sienna. But if you look at the Kia Carnival, I think it's called now, as well as the Honda Odyssey, they're all within spitting distance of each other. This is paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission, shifts are silky smooth, and then there's that all-wheel drive system. That means you don't have to stress out. Now, I personally think the front-wheel drive is just fine, but if you are worried about inclement weather and having just that extra peace of mind, it is very nice to have. The other nice thing about this, very easy to drive, as it should be, but it's just so smooth. The handling, it's very nice. Now, this steering, yeah, there's less life in this than there is in that old pair of formerly white sneakers that are now green that your dad's been cutting the grass in since the 90s. Absolutely no feel whatsoever, but you might be surprised at just how agile this van is. It's not all that top heavy, and the suspension is absolute perfection. I can't get over just how great it rides, especially out here on these rough roads. They're not all that smooth, but this suspension does a great job of absorbing all these imperfections. A little bit noisy on this porous pavement, but overall it's pretty quiet in here too. One problem though, not all that efficient with this all-wheel drive system. If you skip the all-wheel drive, it's good for about 10.4 liters per 100 kilometers officially, and that is very competitive within this segment. But when you add that all-wheel drive, that jumps to 12. It makes this the most inefficient minivan you can buy. The good thing is it's not hard to beat the official number out on the highway. Officially, it's rated for, I think, 9.4 on the highway, and I was a little bit below that earlier this week, but then as soon as I started cruising around town, that number jumped, and it has been incredibly hot this week. The air conditioning has been working hard, and we are up over 12 now, and I still have a few more days of this loan, so I don't know where we're gonna end up at after all this testing, but it is something to know. But then again, that's no worse than your average 3-row SUV with all-wheel drive. Taking a look at that Telluride, the Hyundai Palisade, any of those, they're about the same. They're in that 12 liter per 100 kilometer mark. So this is competitive, and again, you have that added bonus of the peace of mind of all-wheel drive that a lot of people cite as a reason to pick an SUV instead of a minivan. Though, speaking of, most SUVs, they can tow about 5,000 pounds. This can only tow 3,600 pounds. So if you do plan to pull a trailer, can't pull as much with this thing. But honestly, I don't see many people pulling trailers with their SUVs anyway, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now, something that's really good about this van, all kinds of standard advanced safety features. You've got lane keep assist, forward collision warning with pedestrian detection, automatic emergency braking, rear parking sensors with low speed automatic braking. Very well equipped. There's also adaptive cruise control. And then if you go to this Touring L or above, you also get front parking sensors, as well as a surround view camera system and that self-parking system I talked about earlier. Blind spot monitoring too, that's standard. It is a nice package. If I had one complaint, it's that the adaptive cruise control system, it really does like to get on the gas and brakes quite a bit on the highway instead of just maintaining a consistent speed. It's not necessarily that it's problematic, it's just a little unnerving. Maybe more for me because I've used so many smooth systems. This one, not quite as refined, but then again, it's nice to see a competitive package of safety features because that's not something that Chrysler, Ram, Dodge, all of those brands, they haven't exactly been known for that over the years. So it's nice to see a competitive suite here. And something else that's nice to see, all the clever touches inside. Again, it's not just the outright space. There's all kinds of storage. There's this drawer here. There's a drawer on the back here. There's a little cubby up here you can stick stuff in. There's even a slot on either side of the seats specifically for umbrellas. I just love all those clever little touches. And I'm sure, again, that parents out there are going to love that too. Because I know as well as you do that you guys bring absolutely everything with you on every little road trip. Parents are always the ones you can turn to. And it's nice to see a vehicle that has all of the space for all of that stuff you bring with you. It really just does come back to the price tag, especially of this one. It's got everything I'd ask for in a van and then some. It's just a little too expensive. To recap, I like the family friendliness of the Chrysler Pacifica, the smooth drivetrain, and the clever features it comes with. I don't like how expensive it is or that it doesn't have a height adjustable tailgate. So is it fair to put a price tag on practicality? I'd say that's a resounding yes, and not just because we're all feeling the heat of record inflation these days. The Chrysler Pacifica, a fantastic family hauler, but it's just too much money in my mind. If you don't mind forking over all that cash though, what you're getting in return is something the average SUV just can't deliver.